Welcome back to another podfic with Shota Aizawa Podfics. Today I'm going to be reading What's Lost is Never Gone Forever by Andrews J.K. It's 13,000 and a half words. It's currently 7 chapters long, but she's progressively updating it. There is a finished version, which is already a podfic, called UA Survival Guide, and definitely go check that out. Let's get started. Chapter 1, The Meeting. Here's the summary. As Izuku starts his journey at UA High, he meets a ghost who has been dead for many years. As the year progresses, they get closer and closer, but that also means his two teachers get more and more curious about the things happening around him. Will Oboro stay a secret forever, or will his teachers find out, and if they do, how will they react? Izuku is feeling nervous and palpable excitement at the thought of his first day of school at UA. He left his home early to get away from his family. This was easy because he got no sleep anyway. He was taking the back alleys to the train station when he heard the sound of garbage being kicked aside behind him. Startled, he spins his head around, almost giving himself whiplash. A big man with an overcoat slurs through his missing teeth. "Hey kid, what's a young person like you doing in the alleys at this time of morning?" I am on my way to the train station." Damn my muttering habits. Izuku knew he was in a bit of trouble. This guy looked pissed and reeked of alcohol. Oh no, why did I take this route? I need to get away or I will be late for my first day of UA. Izuku starts backing away to the alley entrance as the guy strides closer. Sadly, before he could get away, the guy roughly grabs his shirt and slams him against the wall, probably giving him a concussion. He starts to wiggle and struggle against the dirty hand holding him firmly as black spots start to dance in his vision. Out of the corner of his eye, he sees the man's fist rise into the air, ready to slap him down on his face. Izuku closes his eyes and prepares to take the blow that's coming. Why is it taking so long? When the hit never comes, he cracks his eye open to see a white cloth holding the man's fist away from his face. Izuku's eyes follow the trail of white cloth up to the roof across from him. In his relief, he sees the pro hero, Eraserhead, standing there next to a young boy with wispy blue hair and a bandage resting on the bridge of his nose. Eraserhead jumps down from his perch, landing gracefully on the ground, ready to fight. Within the blink of an eye, the pro hero has the drunk guy unconscious and tied to a light pole. He then turns to me. "Hey kid, you injured?" His head is a bit fuzzy, so it takes a moment to register the question. I don't know. He slammed into the wall. He's slamming into the wall, so my head is throbbing a bit. He scans me for injuries as he slowly walks closer. "I'm going to touch you. I need to look you over." All he can do is nod, even when his head screams in protest. Sirens can be heard from the distance as he hears Eraserhead muttering a quiet, "Finally." Somewhere behind him, he watches as the police take the guy away, leaving him alone with the underground hero and the young boy, who is quietly standing off to the side, watching on with curious eyes. Izuku doesn't hear what comes out of the hero's mouth next because at that moment, he had locked eyes with the young boy, who has winded his eyes in realization that someone can see him. How is this possible? I mean, you're staring at me, which means you can see me. You can hear me too. He offers the boy a faint nod, acknowledging the fact that yes, he can see and hear him. "Hey, kid, you with me? You spaced out on me for a bit there. You okay?" Shaking himself out of shock, he turned back to Eraserhead. Yeah, I'm okay. I just got lost in thought. If you say so. Anyways, you have a minor concussion, so I won't be taking you to recovery, girl. I noticed you go to UA, so you could tell me what class you are in, so I can message your teacher and inform them of why you will be late. Oh, I'm in Class 1A, sir. I completely forgot he worked there. Okay. Okay. Well, come with me. We are going to be late if we don't get a move on. With the help from a racer holding his upper arm, they finally make it to the school after a 30-minute walk. When they reach the infirmary, recovery girl gives him a quick kiss on the cheek. Izuku suddenly feels the rest of his energy leave his body in one wave. It's a miracle I haven't fallen asleep at this rate. Well, I'm going to head to the teacher's lounge. I expect you to be in my class by the time I get there. Eraser stared me straight in the eyes for a few seconds before promptly turning on his heel and stalking out the door. Walking out of the infirmary 15 minutes later, Izuku spotted the kid with wispy blue hair waiting for him. Before Izuku could form words, the boy was already speaking. You can see and hear me, but I'm dead. So how? Wow, he looks really confused. Well, I've been able to see and communicate with ghosts since the day I was born. So it's part of your quirk? No, it's not. I've gone to many quirk doctors and they all said the same thing. What did they say? That I'm crazy. What? Listen, I would love to stay and chat, but I'm already late for class and I don't really want the teacher to be irritated with me on the first day. Good luck with that. Your teacher is Shota. And oh boy, does he get annoyed easily. Great. That's just wonder. Midoriya. At that moment, Shota Aizawa rounds the corner to see a student standing in the hallway, staring at the wall and talking to himself. Sir, he squeaked out, you're late. I expect better from my students. I'm really sorry, sir. Shota stares at Midoriya dead in the eyes for a few moments before speaking in an equally dead tone and tossing a PE uniform at his face. Don't let it happen again. Get into your gym uniform and head to the PE grounds. Don't be late. Yes, sir. Sorry again. And Midoriya. Yes? It's Aizawa-sensei, not sir. Izuku watches as his homeroom teacher promptly turns on his heel and stalks away carrying what looks to be an obnoxious yellow sleeping bag in his arms. After Aizawa-sensei has left his line of sight, Shirakumo leads him toward the busy change rooms. Opening the door, Izuku sees all the males that are in his class, staying quiet. He is quick to change and get going to the PE grounds with Shirakumo's helpful guidance. Even though Izuku was late to class, he somehow arrived first at the PE ground. I'm surprised you are the first one to get here, Midoriya. You know, because you were late to class. Wow, he sounds tired and so done with today. I wanted to make up for my mistake earlier this morning. You could hear Shirakumo snort from somewhere off to the side because apparently he thinks the unpleasant exchange is funny. Traitor. Good afternoon. Good. After class, meet me in my office. I want to talk to you about one or two things. Oh, okay. By that stage, the rest of the class, both boys and girls, started walking out of the main building. When everyone was gathered, Aizawa started to explain what they would be doing today. Today, you are all going to be doing a QAT test, quirk assessment test. There will be 8 different tests that I will be having you do to gauge your potential in my class and in the hero course. What about the welcome ceremony? A girl with a brown bob replied. As a hero, you don't have time for wasting event. You don't have time for time-wasting events because in a battle, villains will strike whether you have made plans to stop them or not. They won't wait for you. Bakugo, you got the highest score for the entrance exam, so you will be doing the demonstration. How many meters could you throw a softball back in middle school? 67 meters, I think. Great, now try it with your quirk. Sure thing, teach. Show some respect, Dadzawa drawls. Caution walked to the middle of the circle and threw the softball with a huge explosion, but not before yelling, die. Erwin turned to the distance reader and their teacher's hands, only to reel back in shock when they saw 709.68 meters. 700,068 meters. There are a few moments of stunned silence before everyone starts yelling about how fun that looked. apparently oblivious to the teacher's twitching eye and growing annoyance. Fun, you say? Well then, whoever comes in last place will be determined to have zero potential and will be expelled from the hero course. Really, Shota, why do you have to do this every year? Complained Shirakumo. The class went up in an immediate uproar about how unfair that was, seeing as it was only the first day. Life isn't fair, so get over it. And let's move on with the test. One by one, the tests commence until they are left with only one, the ball test. Midoriya was walking up towards the circle, ball in hand. Midoriya was walking towards the circle, ball in hand, when he suddenly feels multiple strands of fabric wrapped around his waist and arms. He realizes a moment too late that it's his teacher's captured weapon pulling him closer to Aizawa. Shit, good luck with that one, Midoriya. He briefly glances aside to see Shirakumo, cringing to himself. Sensei, is something wrong? With a destructive quirk like you have, you can't be a hero if you keep breaking your bones, because you will just end up as a liability in the field that others will have to worry about that. With that, Midoriya is released. Throw the ball and make it quick. We don't have all day, his sensei drawls. Walking back to the circle, Midoriya takes this time to think about what he could do. He finally comes up with a plan just as he reaches the center of the circle. Whirling his arms back, Izuku chucks the ball as hard as he can. As the ball is about to leave his hand, he uses his quirk to power up 2 of his fingertips, which will give him the needed power to hopefully not come last in the QAT. With only 2 broken fingers, Izuku turns his teacher with determination shining in his eyes. See, Aizawa-sensei? I'm still standing. Sheesh, kid, you are certainly something else. I mean, I can't believe you just challenged your teacher's words. He didn't dare to look away from Aizawa to acknowledge what Shirakumo was saying. Aizawa opened his mouth to speak to the class as a whole, all while holding eye contact with Izuku. I will display your scores via hologram in order from highest to lowest. On the hologram, Izuku noticed he came in 15th place, which is not too bad considering the circumstances of how late All Might gave him his quirk. Off to the side, Izuku could notice Shirakumo bouncing with joy. Whoop! Nice job, Midoriya. I'm glad you get to stay. I will finally have someone to talk to. Looking further down the list, he noticed a boy named Mineta was at the bottom of said list. Mineta, go to the principal's office. You have been expelled. What? Why? 2 reasons. Firstly, you were acting very inappropriate towards the girls, and secondly, you have 0 potential. Now get out of my class. There is a curriculum for the rest of you on my podium. Take one and look it over before tomorrow. Dismissed. With that, everyone walked towards the changing rooms before grabbing a curriculum and heading home. Izuku was walking towards the gate when he heard someone calling him. Hey, Midoriya. Izuku? What? You can call me Izuku. Well, then please call me Oboro. Sure. And Izuku. Yeah? Did you forget about that meeting Shota wanted to have with you? I can't believe I forgot about that. Now he was running through the halls, trying not to be any more late than he already was, and rounding a corner blindly when he bumped into someone. Oof. Hey, little listener, you okay? Yes, I'm okay. I'm sorry about that. It's okay, but is there a reason you're running in the halls? I have to meet with Aizawa-sensei, but I completely forgot, and now I'm late. That makes sense. He can be intimidating. Do you want me to show you where his office is? Yes, please. Well, then follow me. 5 minutes later, they arrive at Aizawa's office. Hey, Aizawa, my man. Yes, Mike, what do you want? Nothing for me. I was just showing the little listener to your office, he said. You wanted to talk to him. Midoriya, take a seat. I will be with you in a minute. Okay. Izuku turned to the door, giving Mike Sensei a hesitant smile, which he returned with an enthusiastic smile of his own. Bye, little listener. Bye, Aizawa. Bye, Mike Sensei. See you tomorrow, Mike. For the next 5 minutes, Izuku sits there nervously in front of his teacher, along with the occasional glance in Oboro's direction, who is really quiet. All right, Midoriya, I don't want to be here all day, so let's get this over with. Okay, I was reading through your student file and noticed some things of concern. What did you find concerning? The medical part of your file is quite empty, with your allergies, sex, medical conditions, and important past hospital visits. Is there a reason for this? I don't know why. I don't know why my parents filled that in. Well then, I guess we can fill it in now. Sure. Right. Do you have any allergies? I do need to know if they are deadly. I'm deadly allergic to peaches. Okay. Sex. I'm male. Izuku looked up through his bangs hesitantly to see the gaze of his teacher. Alright. Okay, what about medical conditions? None that I know of. Finally, do you have any past hospital visits that are important for the school to know? I think I have one, but I'm not so sure. You're not sure? It's a little fuzzy. I guess I will speak to your parents about that then. After a few moments of silence, his sensei looked back up. That is all I wanted to speak to you about. Go home. I hope for your sake that you won't be late again. Yes, sensei. See you tomorrow. Izuku quickly leaves his teacher's office, hoping he won't make it home before his parents get back from work. He silently cringed to himself, remembering what happened last time he wasn't home first. Izuku, wait. Turning around, he sees Oboro running after him. Oh, hi, Oboro. Did you need something? I was wondering if I could come home with you while I wait for Shota's patrol to start. Sure. I just have to warn you, my parents aren't exactly quiet or cheerful. That's fine. Thanks for letting me come with you. It's fine. I'm just sorry for what you were about to see. What do you mean? You'll find out soon. Chapter 2. Later that afternoon, Shota Aizawa walks through the door of his apartment to see his husband, Hisashi Yamada, prepping vegetables for dinner. I'm home, he calls out in a gruff voice. Looking towards his partner, Hisashi responds happily. Hey, honey, welcome home. How was your meeting with the little listener? It went better than I anticipated. In what way? Well, I expected him not to be able to answer the questions I had, but he could. Well, except one. Isn't that a good thing? It would be, but the reason all his medical information was blank in the first place doesn't sit right with me. What's the reason? That's the thing. He didn't know why. All he said was that his parents were the ones filling in all the paperwork. That does raise a red flag. Sadly, there's nothing we can do about it without finding reasons that support our thoughts. So what does that mean? It means that we keep an eye on him and look for anything of importance, okay? Yeah, okay. Great, now dinner's... Yeah, okay. Great, now dinner's ready. Let's eat. After that, they sat down to eat their dinner while being surrounded by cats and prepare for what the next day had in store for them. Arriving home, Izuku notices to his dread that his parents' car is in the parking lot. He stops dead in his tracks and stares at it, hoping that what his parents have planned for him when he walks through the door can be easily covered up for school the next day. Well, that's if he can even get up for school. After a quick glance at Oboro's concerned face, he slowly continues towards the door of his home. Izuku, you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. You sure? You looked really upset while staring at that car. Who does it even belong to? It's no one's. Okay, if you say so. Well, here we are. Twisting the doorknob, Izuku pushes the door open to find the one person he never wanted to see ever again, standing in the kitchen, staring at him, and that person is Midoriya Hisashi, his father. You're home late, Izuku. I was talking to my teacher after school. Liar! With that, Hisashi grabbed him by the hair and dragged him into the house. Instead of putting him in his room, Hisashi drops him onto the floor of the living room where he sees his mom, Inko Midoriya, sitting on the couch with the usual expression of disgust and anger. although this time there is no weapon gripped in her hand, which only ever means one thing. She's going to be using her own quirk as today's weapon of choice. Usually he would be able to run and hide in his room, hoping to escape as much damage as possible, but this time his father is keeping him pinned down on the floor, preventing any and all plans he had to escape. From the corner of his eye, he could see Oboro standing off to the side, concern written all over his face. Izuku, you need to get up and away from them. Call the police or even UA. They're going to hurt you if you don't. It's very rude not to greet your mother, Izuku. Sorry. I never gave you permission to talk, did I? His mom says as she releases her quirked hold on his vocal cords. Shaking his head, Izuku looks up at his mom through his bangs. Even when the movement causes his throat to scream in agony after his mother finishes pulling on his vocal cords. Well, that was all I had planned for you today, Hisashi, on the other hand, has plans of his own. Yes, Inko dear, I won't be long, so I will see you in the dining room in let's say 10 minutes. Of course, just make sure to lock him away in his room when you are done. I'll see to it. Thank you, dear. Inko then turned and walked away. Right, get on with it, shall we? Turning his gaze away from his mother only to be faced with the evil grin of his father. Izuku comes to realize whatever damage will be dealt to him this time won't be so easy, in a school filled with pro heroes and hero students alike. What should I use today? Let's see. Ooh, I know. What about this knife? No, please don't do this. Aw, but where's the fun in that? Hit. Please stop, Izuku cries. After what felt like forever, Izuku is finally sent back to his room with a whole new group of injuries lining his back, shoulders, and are thankfully easy to hide during school. Walking into his room, he spots Oboro hovering over the edge of his bed, wearing a conflicted expression on his face. Hi, Oboro. What's got you looking so conflicted? You serious? Izuku, are you really dusting all that under the rug? What your parents just did to you is not okay. You need to tell someone. I don't know what you saw, but it isn't what you're thinking. It's exactly what I'm thinking. Your parents are hurting you. Izuku, please tell someone about this. Tell your teachers. They're pro heroes who can help. There's nothing to tell. Why should I bother them when something that isn't even happening? They're hurting you, and you are shoving it under the rug. Let it go, Oboro. Izu, drop it. Okay, fine, but trust me when I say this conversation is far from over, and don't forget to disinfect the wounds before you bandage them. Thanks for the reminder. No problem. So, when does Aizawa-sensei start patrol? I know you're trying to change the subject, but I shall ignore it this time. So Shota starts his patrol at 10:30 tonight, which means I will be leaving here at 10 o'clock to make it to his house in time for his departure. Great, thank you. Why? Sometimes his route brings him to the alleyway below my bedroom window, although I have never known when he would start, therefore I don't always get to see him fight. Is he your favorite hero? I guess. You guess. He is. How did you find out about him? I'm a late bloomer, so when I was young I searched the internet for heroes who are quirkless. Instead I found him, and he inspired me because he mainly fought quirkless. So why can't a quirkless person become a hero? Oh, that's so sweet. You should tell him that. He would not know what to do with that information if you did. No, never. That is the one thing I will never say out loud around Aizawa-sensei. Ever. Well, that's no fun. Too bad. Why not? Eraserhead is my teacher. I have to be around him every day. If he found out about that, I would never be able to look him in the eye ever again. Fair enough, I guess. I'm going to head to bed. It's getting close to 10. You should probably head out. Yeah, I guess I should. Just promise me you'll take care of yourself tonight. Stay in your room with the door locked and try to get some sleep. I will, but even a locked door won't keep them away. I don't think you realize that I have no escape here. I am trapped with this life and there's nothing I can do. You do have an escape, but your parents want you to be afraid to take the escape. Just think about what I have said. Please. Sure thing. I'll try to. Thank you, Izuku. Good night, Oboro. Night. See you at Liyue tomorrow. With that, Izuku watches as Oboro faces through the glass of his window and travels in the direction of his sensei's home. Only when Oboro is no longer in sight does he get dressed, being cautious of his injuries, and head to bed. Once in bed, he shuts his eyes and hopes his mother and father don't decide to come into his room in the middle of the night. For the rest of the night, Oboro watches over Eraserhead as he fights villains on patrol. After that, he goes back to the house with him. But instead of resting, because ghosts can't sleep, he hovers over the kitchen counter, dwelling over what he had witnessed at Izuku's house. As much as Izuku thinks there is no escape, he will just have to keep being friends with him, and hope he realizes soon that there is an open escape route to freedom. Alright, everyone, that is chapter 1 and 2. I will get back to you in a few hours or maybe minutes on chapter 3 and 4. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you on the next one. Bye, everyone.